Changing dramatically.
And I want to make sure they're all good to go. First thing you're going to do.
Elizabeth says, hey, she thinks it's growing because they're utilizing artificial intelligence to assist. What do you think about that? Check. Well, what's another way to look at that? Yes, ma'am. And I apologize. Remind us of your name.
There is a very cool all-organization fair going on out
That can deliver food to hotels. Do you think that could dilute?
Everybody good?
Room service. All right. What are some of the reasons room service might not be growing?
What is an all-organization?
It's expensive.
Fair?
What else?
How ridiculously
Limited menu
the
sometimes.
organizations.
What else?
That part I knew. Somebody tell me.
If I'm out, if you're in a hotel and it's a big hotel, 500 rooms, is it a big hotel? How long does it take the food to get from the kitchen to your room? Long time. Can we serve it hot? Not very well. And then you've got to get the tray back and the dirty dishes. How many of you have seen dirty dishes in a hallway of a hotel and gone, ooh, that doesn't look so good? Right? So all of those reasons, it's tough because some hotels will have room service attendants to go up and serve and deliver, but they don't know how many to staff. And I might have a room service attendant on at my 300-room hotel, but they might only serve 2 meals a night. Have I lost money? Probably. And it's expensive. They charge a delivery charge. They charge an automatic gratuity. So room service has challenges. What are hotels doing in lieu of that? They're allowing delivery services to come in. That's one. What else are they doing? They're making deals with outside restaurants. Hey, we'll put your menu, your TGI Fridays menu in our hotel, but we get 10% of every meal that you deliver to the hotel. Right? Or we get a little revenue stream that way. What else are they doing?
Very important.
You go into a hotel lobby today. How many of you have traveled and stayed in a hotel lately? All right, what's going on with hotel lobby?
Might as well be getting your share. But part of that application and your
Snacks, drinks, wine. Have you been to an H-E-B or a Central Market or Whole Foods? What do they have now? Wine bars. They're trying to create community. That's what hotels are doing. Millennials say, we want to meet people. We're social. Don't give us a sterile lobby. We don't want to stay in our room. We're just going to use our room to sleep. We want to be downstairs with a TV, with music, with bar, with food. So you'll find lots of, not lots, but you'll find a fireplace. You'll have seating. You'll have a wine bar with some snacks. And that's what they're doing today in lieu of big restaurants, those restaurants that nobody sits in. So that you don't meet people in those restaurants, right? So that's what they're moving toward, and that's another reason room service isn't going so well, because people want to come downstairs, or they want to visit a place nearby the hotel, which makes the concierge position that much more important. All right. So thank you, Angela. That's room service. Manuel, what's another area where we can make money on food and beverage in a hotel?
So how many of you are familiar with this concept called top hat?
Yeah?
Many of you.
Well, wait, what I'm looking at right now are the food outlets, food and beverage outlets that the food and beverage director would manage. Restaurants, exactly right. Can I have a freestanding a restaurant inside a hotel? Almost always. At the very least, I'm going to have a food court or a food area where we serve breakfast. Yeah? Might also do a happy hour. Would make there. Yeah?
And to take quizzes.
Embassy Suites does a breakfast, and they do a happy hour every day for their guests. That drives a lot of brand loyalty for them. You wouldn't think that 2 or 3 beers or 2 or 3 glasses of wine would make such a difference to people, but it does. Let that be a cheap lesson for you. When in doubt, serve alcohol. All right? Good. That's another good one. Yes, ma'am. Your name is Holly. Mini bar in your room. Now, same kind of challenges we have with room service. Right? Not everybody uses it. Why not? It's expensive. Some places do the mini bars where now it's gotten to be a little easier. There was also a theft problem for a long time, but what have they done now? What has technology enabled us to do?
Don't worry about it.
Well, we have a key so we can lock it. We know if you've opened it because it has a seal, so we know you opened it. But just because you opened it, does that mean you consumed anything? No, what's another way?
Quizzes get to be a little more challenging.
Take the weight, that's of alcohol typically. We measure alcohol by weighing it. That's a very good point. We'll talk about it in a minute. They don't have security cameras in the guest room. No, right? How do we track food items? How do we know that you drank 2 bottles of water and 2 Cokes just like that? Well, the housekeeper can count them, or the person that's in charge of mini bars goes into each room. But man, that sounds like a lot of work, and I got to have the information the next morning when you check out. Come on, my millennial technology guru. Yeah, they get censored, right? And as soon as that passes outside the mini bar frame, bing, it gets rung up. Ka-ching! $8, please, for that $1 bottle of water.
That's a good idea.
How many of you
But it's convenient. Did you have to leave your room?
How many of you have felt?
Could you stay in your robe and your slippers and you drank your water?
Here's the scenario.
Would you pay $8 for that? I know you say that now, but never say never.
Uber driver.
Spending money is relative. If you got $1 billion in the bank, would you spend $8 for a bottle of water? Probably. If you had $5 in the bank, would you spend $8 for a bottle of water? Probably not. All right, today nobody's spending $8 on a bottle of water because the stock market has gone 1,500 points, down 1,500 points in 2 days.
Picking up women that were
Right?
heavily
Everybody's going, I'm
Sometimes,
canceling that road trip I had.
even if he wasn't the right driver,
So,
he would pull up in front.
mini bars, big area of business, and there's some revenue there because of why. This gets us into another topic on the quiz. Why are mini bars still out there? The profit margin, what we call, you saw it on the test. What's the difference between the price and the cost of an item? You need to remember this for the next 3 chapters. The price and the cost of an item. In other words,
That's right.
the price is what the consumer pays for the
Why
item.
are Uber and Lyft at least
Hold on, no.
in this
Oh, don't go there.
respect, safer
The cost
than a taxi?
is what the entity, the hotel or the restaurant actually paid for the item. Just the cost of the food, or the bottle of water, or the can of beer, or the bottle of wine. Doesn't include your labor cost or any of your other costs.
You open the door.
Right? That's an important distinction. Like where you're going, just want to make sure we're tracking the same way.
And you go, Michael, and they go, no,
Price is what the
George, or
consumer
whatever.
pays.
Well, your
If it's an
license
$8
plate
bottle of
doesn't
water,
match.
and that
Oh,
bottle
yeah,
of water
driving
costs me
friends, what do you
50
do?
cents, right? What's my
Check that
contribution
through the
margin?
window before you get
$7.50. Contribution margin is the difference between the price the consumer pays and what it costs me
so intoxicated.
to get it into my inventory, right?
Do we act rationally?
So the
when we're
contribution
intoxicated?
margin on
Do we let our guard
minibar
down?
items is good. If that same customer goes down to your refrigerator at the front desk,
This driver.
are they going to pay $8 for that bottle of water? No, they're going to pay $2.50 and complain about it.
They know
What's my
of
contribution
four
margin?
women That were intoxicated. That he
$2, right? Would I rather sell it from the minibar or at the front desk?
sexually assaulted them.
I'd rather sell at the minibar all day long, right? 'Cause would you rather make $7.50 with your sales, or would you rather make $2 with your sales? All right, that's a lesson for you to learn for your entire life. Would you rather make $11 an hour with your time, or $200 an hour with your time? Tell me. Well, then think that way. When you spend your time, think about it, because every time you're settling for $11 an hour, you're giving up $50 an hour, or $100 an hour, or $200 an hour. It's just a matter of finding that job.
Sometimes he wasn't. If he was the actual,
Maximize your time.
even though they didn't
Is there
match
an
it up, it just turned
opportunity
out that
cost
he
with
was.
your time?
Would that change your opinion?
Are you spending an opportunity cost to go to college? You're not only paying tuition and fees, but what could you be doing now instead of in here? You could be working and making money. So you can't just think about what you spend. You have to think about your opportunity cost. Do you see
There's a
that?
criminal act.
I don't charge extra
There's
for that kind of
intention
stuff.
to
I'm
do
just
that.
sharing
Is
with
that
you
fair?
something you want to think
You
about.
think also, though, that
Right.
the women
Now-
have some responsibility. They got too intoxicated, right?
Contribution margin
that fair?
is crucial. Hold on to that fall.
Anybody else that might have some responsibility?
Feel that way to you?
Why Uber?
Other outlets.
Talk about chapter 9. It's tourism.
Lyric. Other
I
outlets.
didn't say that, but it's okay. We can make it up as we go
Roll your
along.
eyes at me, Lyric. No, I'm just telling you. You're thinking. I know you.
You think Uber, since they use
They
those
do.
drivers,
Can you just have a bar?
they should be responsible.
Might have some
for the
tapas.
act.
What are
Now,
tapas?
here's a distinction.
Small
Typically in the
appetizer type
United
plates for
States,
sharing.
when you
Another
have an
community
employment
type
relationship,
concept, right? So we'll serve wines. Lots of wines by the glass.
Elizabeth,
Lots of
I
mixed
employed
craft
Elizabeth.
cocktails,
Elizabeth
beer.
did something
Yeah.
wrong.
Think people
I,
can
as the
sit in
employer
quickly,
of
have
Elizabeth,
something, go
would
watch
be
the games,
responsible.
whatever they want to
That's
see.
the
See a
legal
lot of
theory we
sports
have in the
bars
United
being
States.
developed
But how
in
does Uber
hotel.
classify their drivers?
Very good. Any other types of food and beverage
Independent
outlets in a
contract.
hotel?
And it's much more difficult to
Spa.
hold
We could have some spa
Uber
foods that we
responsible
serve
for
in
the
there.
acts of independent
Good point. What else?
It does happen.
Deli shop.
But it
Right? The
doesn't
gift
very
shop could also
complicated.
be have some deli or prepared
Nevertheless,
foods in it, right? You're seeing more and more
Uber said to
prepared
you,
foods
but they're an independent
in
contract.
smaller hotels.
Would you still
Where
believe
people
that
can
Uber
grab and
has
go
some
up to their room,
responsibility
especially your
because of the way
extended
they're
stay,
advertising
where they have a microwave or a small apartment-sized kitchen or refrigerator
Anybody
inside
else
the
that might have
hotel
some
room.
responsibility?
They're doing it all there. Why should you have to go out to My Fit Foods to buy something? You can have it right here in the hotel lobby, right? One-stop shopping. The hotel drives some more revenue. Yeah. That's what's going on in the hotel
Clearly,
business
we've got the
today.
driver.
All right, there's one last food and beverage concept we haven't thought about.
Those actions, no doubt. But we got the
Manuel.
driver and the criminal, the same person.
Well, they got vending machines. That's a very good one. I hadn't even thought about that. But the vending machines on different floors, do we get a cut of those?
We've got
We do. We get a cut of those. They come by and we get some dough. It's good. It's easy money. I call it ka-ching money. That's what you're looking for. Ka-ching. Everybody get it? You have to do nothing. We get some money. It drops in your bank account.
Might have some responsibility.
You're on the beach in Aruba. Ka-ching. That's the money you're looking for today. Right?
That's interesting.
All right. But we're still missing one. Yes, ma'am. Tell me your name.
Here's
Evelyn.
the challenge we have.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Do we have to have a kitchen to prepare that?
Typically,
Yeah, those are big time. So the equipment we need for catering and events is different, right? If I'm going to prepare a meal for 2, do I need the same type of equipment if I'm going to prepare a meal for 150? I've got to have ovens that can hold things at the same temperature for quite a while, so everything gets served at the same temperature at the same time or over the next 10, 15 minutes. Do you see that? And I got to have a banquet staff, and I got to have enough space, and I got to have more plates. And who's going to be responsible in the hotel to make sure I have those plates and those knives and forks?
After we drink.
The steward. Remember that?
That's why we don't let
The
people
steward
drive.
is who's responsible.
We
for
don't let
supply,
people enter into
kitchen.
contracts. when
Got all
they've
that?
been drinking.
Glassware, things like that. All right, good.
It is going to be
Very good. Let's go back to the quiz.
How?
What other questions were on
Great
there?
job of identifying the potential.
What's the capture rate?
And it's going to take a jury to figure out what's what.
Into the restaurant, right? How many people are you getting into the restaurant? How many people are staying at the hotel that actually use the restaurant? That's your capture rate. Why? When somebody books a room at a hotel, do I just want their room night money? What else do I want to
So what you're
capture?
saying to me, and this is a very good
I want
point.
everything.
Industry all the time.
I want to capture their
What you're
dough,
saying to me then
right?
is,
Hey,
it's
come stay at our restaurant. We're going to give you
for the
10%
bar,
off the prime rib
because
dinner.
it's crowded.
By the way,
Never.
second glass of wine is
The
half
amount of
price.
alcohol they
By the
use
way,
goes for
get a
food.
shoe shine for $2. By the way, we'll clean that shirt for $4.50. By the way, right, you need a ride into downtown. It's a $5 shuttle. Whatever it is, right? Hotels are learning to drive revenue from different sources, and that's why they need people like you that understand different target markets to tell them what people want today and what they'll pay for.
Success today
Okay.
is based
If they made a
Learn
car,
airlines are doing this now. How many of you like that airlines charge for bags? Of course not. How many of you like a sharp stick in the eye? Nobody.
Right.
Okay, how many of you like to pay for food on a plane? Nobody. But that's what airlines are doing, and why are they not stopping? Because they're making billions of dollars doing it. And do you really have a choice of the airline you can fly on? It's only a handful of them. You got to fly on one or two of them, right? So they say no. You get as mad as you want.
That's the question.
Hotels, though, are
And it's a
different,
very-
right?
You make a very fair point.
You don't want to stay at the La Quinta, you can go across the street to the Best Western. But hotels are also doing what?
They're like, hey, it's not possible
Consolidating.
for us to track everybody. And then
There
I
might be
say,
5
then why are you
franchisors
serving
today
them
that own
alcohol?
150 of the hotel brands.
That doesn't mean you have to
They
agree with
control a
somebody.
lot of the market, so you're going to see some of these things happen. Marriott just announced,
It's not your turn because the red lights
this is
are
going
on.
to get a little complex, but stay with me.
How about in the grocery store when you stand
A
in line,
career
you think
path
the
for
line
you
going
is to be a third-party meeting planner.
But what about the
So when you read this chapter, you probably read about working in the catering and events department, right? We talked about sales, catering, and events, yes? And you go out and let's say your job is the business banquet sales director, so you're going to go to people like Google, Facebook, oil and gas companies and say, hey, stay with us and hold your meetings with us, right? That's your job.
Most people do it.
Okay.
It's much easier to track that and to count them.
But what if there was a company out there that didn't work for your hotel
What good did that do?
that had customers that relied upon them to find the right hotel for them to hold their meeting at? Would you want to know about those people as the sales manager? Of course you would, because you want to say, hey, Elizabeth, I know you work with 20 different companies and you book meetings for them. Would you please book them at my hotel, right? That's called a third-party meeting planner. Do you remember we had third-party management companies to manage the hotel? Do you remember that? Right. This is the same concept, third-party meeting planner. So Elizabeth takes a job with a company as a, let's call it Helms Briscoe. That's the big dog on the porch. Helms Briscoe.
The physical manifestations. That's what you guys are trained on when you take that, right?
Elizabeth
Now,
comes to
back
me,
our discussion
Google,
last
and says, hey,
Thursday.
Google, I want to represent you and book all your meetings, and I know the meeting business inside out. I can help you negotiate your contracts. Plus, I'll send out an RFP. What's an RFP? Request for proposal. RFP, request for proposal. I'm going to send an RFP out to 30 hotels in downtown Houston where you want to hold a meeting, and I'm going to get competition, and I'm going to get the best deal for you, right? And I'm going to save your workforce 100 hours by doing this for you because I've got it all automated. Is that a good deal for Google? Absolutely. And the best part, how much is it going to cost me?
It's just
Nothing.
not enough to take their keys.
They don't charge me anything. Wait, how does Elizabeth and Helms Briscoe get paid?
Consequences of overserving.
The hotel pays them. How?
Stands well outside just driving.
With a commission.
You get that?
If I book 300 room nights, listen to this.
You have to
If I book 300 room nights and another $50,000 in food and beverage, right? 300 room nights, let's say at $200 a night, how much money is that? Say $60,000.
shared services, Uber,
200
Lyft,
times 300,
Airbnb,
60,000. Everybody got that?
whatever it is.
60,000.
Part of the lodging industry.
Plus
If you're in the
50,000
hotel
in
business,
food and
you like
beverage.
Airbnb.
Helms Briscoe
If you're in the hotel
gets
business,
10%
you like
of that.
Airbnb? No.
So Helms Briscoe made $6,500 by being Match.com
Why not?
for businesses that wanted to book an event and a hotel that wants to host an event. Do you see that? And they give Elizabeth about half of that. So Elizabeth made $3,750 by booking. Sorry, $3,250 by booking one event. Now Elizabeth books 10 events for that month. Can you do the math?
Not the typical social scene of a hotel.
There you go. In a month. And she did it from home in her pajamas and slippers.
Legally, it doesn't video you.
You like that?
Which we've had some.
There you go. You're sitting home with Charlie the dog,
Hotels complain
and you're doing your laundry.
Airbnb operator.
Plumber shows up to fix your pipe, and bam, you book an event and make $3,000 bucks. There you go, dude. That's the way of the world. That's what you're looking for today. So look at third-party meeting. We call them procurement specialists. What does procurement mean? Procure, to buy. Procurement is to assist in the procuring process. I'm going to procure space for your event. I'm going to help you buy it. I'm going to help you secure it. Third-party meeting procurement companies. Look at those when you think I'm going to work. Now the problem is they're all commission.
Type of tax. It is totally unique.
So if you need need income tomorrow to pay your bills, that job's not for you.
Who works in the hotel business?
But you can start this part-time, go while you're doing your other job, build up a pipeline of clients, get a little cash flow rolling in, and then you can go out on your own.
What's the folio?
See how it works? Now, I brought that up because I was talking to you about consolidating in the market. Remember I told you about connecting the dots? Do you remember that? Thinking differently? Remember Marriott just bought Starwood. Do you remember that conversation? All right, well,
What's a folio?
Marriott now controls,
folio.
I told you this,
All your charges, your room night, your
one out of
tax,
how
went to the
many?
restaurant, went to the spa, there's a resort fee.
Oh, how many percent? What percent of all hotel rooms in the world does Marriott control now?
F-O-L-I-O.
17%. So almost 1 out of 5. 17% of every hotel room is branded with a Marriott brand. Now, not just Marriott.
Think about it. And when I ask you,
Right?
again what it is, you
Westin,
can
Ritz-Carlton,
tell me what it is.
Marquis, JW,
Jordan,
Courtyards,
Jordan,
Renaissance,
Tell me what a folio
Fairfields,
is.
right? All their different brands.
My bill.
One
What's
out of
it
every,
include?
one out of about every 5 or 6 hotel
includes
rooms
everything like
is a
what?
Marriott brand in the world. Now, do they have power? Do they have leverage?
helper?
If you're a third-party meeting planner, what are the odds you're going to host a meeting at a Marriott?
Room charges?
Pretty good, right?
Food and beverage?
They were paying
You get laundry
10%
done at the
commission to
hotel.
groups like Thomas
Everything
Briscoe.
you spend
What
at
did
the
they just do?
That's included on your bill.
They just slashed the commission to 7%.
Yeah, right. Now, back to this.
So now, if
One
Elizabeth
item on
wants to
your bill
hold a
is
meeting
occupancy.
at a Marriott, she's only going to get 7%.
Every city,
Now, if Hilton doesn't follow suit
when they license a
with all of their brands, where's Elizabeth more likely to book her hotel? Marriott or Hilton? Hilton, right? So Marriott is thinking what? When they move it to 7%, what are they hoping happen? That the other hotel chains drop it to 7%.
And what is that? Where does that money go? Because this is in
See how that
addition to
works?
your general
When United
sales
raises the
tax
price of the ticket from here to Dallas by $40, what are they hoping everybody else in the market does?
And that
Raise the
money goes to
price.
state to help
Is it
the
illegal
state,
for the
right?
CEO of United to call up the CEO of Southwest and go, hey, we need to raise the price on air traffic between Houston and Dallas? Is that illegal?
Are they in Houston?
Yeah. That's called collusion. It's an antitrust violation. You cannot fix prices between competitors.
Taxes in Houston are almost the highest in the country, if not the highest.
If you sell sushi rolls for $10.99 and a sushi place opens across the street and you go have lunch with the manager, and during lunch she says, hey, let's both raise our prices to $13.99 and agree to keep them that way, we both make more money. Can you do that? Not unless you want to go to jail.
Tourism.
There's serious criminal penalties for colluding on price and anti-competitive strategies in the United States. You cannot collude on price
They pay into a tax
in the U.S. of A. Do you see that? It's called antitrust activities.
meetings,
We don't let that happen.
City and spend more money here.
Everybody understands that. That's another cool topic to ride on if you're interested.
Occupancy taxes to do.
All right. Now, let's trickle down a little bit
Bring the Super Bowl to
into
Houston.
the operation of this food and beverage area. And do you remember when we talked about hotels, we talked about an average daily rate. Do you remember we talked about RevPAR? And we talked about average occupancy. Do you remember that? We talked about the STAR report and how that helps us compare our business to other people's business. Everybody?
Are they right?
So there's a key ratio in the food and beverage side of a hotel. How known as talks about contribution margin. That's not a ratio. That's just a number.
Yeah.
But what about
Oh my word. Okay.
on food? Is food cost percentage an important ratio in the hotel food and beverage department?
As much as I enjoy hearing
Yeah.
about it,
So how do we find our food cost?
I taught your mother, right? Oh my goodness, yeah, right.
Cost divided by, say it out loud, Helen. Sales, exactly. So we know what our cost is, Holly, just what it costs us to put that hamburger, not the flavor. But if I sell a hamburger, it's the bun, it's the patty, it's the pickles, it's the onions, lettuce, tomatoes. Where's Jimmy Buffett when I need it? Oh, you guys don't know who that is.
Yeah. Baseball stadium.
I like mine with lettuce
Oh,
and
it's not called
tomato,
Minute Maid
Heinz 57 and French
Oh, BBB
fried
is the soccer.
potatoes.
But Minute Maid's still Minute
Pickle
Maid.
and a cold draft beer.
That's the
Well,
World
good
Series.
God
Yeah,
almighty,
right.
which way to...
Right.
I got to play Jimmy Buffett for you guys? Oh, my
Who's the little guy
God.
that plays for
No
them?
parrot heads in
Jose?
here?
Oh,
You got to
that's
like,
awesome.
yeah. Got to
He's
like
so much
that.
fun to watch.
Grady, you know who Jimmy
Look, they
Buffett
built all
is.
these
Surfer dude.
stadiums.
You got it going on. All right.
More people to come to the city.
Next time you better sing when I sing.
It kind of runs that into
So
the city.
it's all of those things added together, right? So if all of those things Helma cost me $2 and I sell the hamburger for $10, that's what the consumer pays. What's my food cost percentage?
If I want to rent
Food
a room
cost
at my house,
percentage.
and I'm not licensed with the city.
Flip it.
And you come and stay with me and pay me
You told me it was food cost divided by sale. So
I
it's
gotta pay
$2
you that
divided
money
by
over the city.
$10. Your cost is always your numerator. Your sales price is always your denominator,
You have to add sales
which
tax
means
and
you always
17%
divide the denominator into your numerator, right? You guys know your fractions?
Is that fair?
So I got my
competition?
numerator on top, my denominator's on, which means divide by, that's what that line means, right?
Hey, at least make
So
it
I'm going
a
to
level
divide 2
playing
by
field.
10, which gives me what?
If you're going to
20%,
license us,
0.20, which is, Grant?
any lodging
Exactly.
in
It's always good to
Houston
come
has
after
to
it.
do the same
Yeah, it's
thing.
good.
Is that fair?
20%.
Look at the jury and
Everybody got that?
Anybody
Right
think
now,
otherwise?
Helma,
It's
what's
okay
my
if you do.
contribution
Some
margin
people
on
argue,
that
"Hey, it's my
hamburger?
house. I should be able to do whatever I want to with it.
that you're bringing in. And very rare
Make those
right?
choices.
is that
But should they?
want to be a leader.
What if you are a neighbor of somebody that rents out 80% of your their apartment to Airbnb?
Nope, don't go with labor. Just my contribution margin. My cost of goods sold was what? My cost of goods sold was $2. I sold it to the consumer for, what's the difference? 8. My contribution margin was $8. Let me show you why that's important right now.
Of the hospitality industry is changing.
Okay.
Right? So that
Blonde hair. I'm sorry, ma'am. What's your name?
rest of it and we can
Lily. I'm going to get that one of these days. I apologize. Lily. If I sell hot dogs
let's
for $5
the revenue equation.
one
and it costs me
that says
$1
industry
cost of goods sold. The hot dog, the bun, the relish, the mustard, you guys, you know where I'm going, right? That cost me $1. I sell it for $5. What's my contribution margin?
industry
$4 exactly right. What's my
in the
food
world.
Cost percentage?
Airlines and hotels. Was it Mo?
$1 cost divided by $5 sales price. What's my percentage?
Ditched my class already?
Turn it around. 1 over 5. 1/5. What's 1/5 translate to? 20%.
What's the difference?
Very good, Lily. I like the way you did that in your head. It was awesome. Does everybody see how that worked? Food cost percentage is 20%. You guys took your SATs, right? Y'all made perfect score on the math? Anyway, so 20%. So you got 20% food cost, right? All right, I got 20% food cost, and I got a $4 contribution margin. Hang on to that thought.
Not so much
Now,
today, but since you
who's next
brought it
to
up,
you? Lily, what's the
what
guy's name?
is an OTA?
You, dude, yeah.
Do that, what do they got to do with your
OTA.
Tell me.
Have you
Nick.
ever bought anything from
Nick.
Expedia? Have you ever bought
Nick at night.
a car rented from
Nick at night. Now, let's go back to hamburgers, Nick, but forget Helma's hamburger. This is a super special, super duper a la Peter T. Hooper deluxe hamburger.
Priceline.
You ready?
Booking.com.
So you're gonna, this hamburger costs you,
Cheapfare.com.
Oh yeah, man. I was in the grocery store one time years ago. I was doing this diet.
this hamburger
Circle back
costs
to
you
I was talking to Helma about occupancy taxes. We
$8.
just
So that's what I did. No sugar for 30 days.
And you sell
My
it
daughter's mother at the time. We go
for 16.
Yeah, we go in the grocery store.
What's my food cost percentage?
30 days is
I
up.
wanted to clean up something that I didn't
Grab
get
the bag of Chippewa, not the little one.
When we were talking about occupancy
Nick.
taxes,
Quit watching Nick at night.
only industry
Practice your remedial math. $8 is my cost. $16 is my sale. We're going to divide 8 by 16. 8 over, Nick, 8 over 16 is 1/2. 1/2 is what percent? 50, Nick, 50%.
Because doing so good when you guys
Did you
live
say
in the
that?
city of Houston.
Oh, he did?
Allegedly, you
I didn't hear
vote.
you, dude. I'm sorry.
Right.
Did he say that? Did you guys hear that?
Tax is not on you, right? The occupancy.
My bad.
Because you typically don't stay in a hotel.
Thank you. Nick,
In your own city.
yeah, good.
Do you
Thank
see
you. You
that?
said 50%. Yeah, you thought it was too easy. Can this be right? It was right.
Know, hey,
50%. What's my contribution
higher
margin?
occupancy tax.
$8. Very good. Lily,
Because it doesn't impact you.
what was our food cost on the hot dog?
Visitors.
Food,
Yes. who
food
don't
cost
get to vote.
percentage on the hot
How
dog.
many of you remember your
20%. So, Lily,
revolutionary history
Nick,
in the United States?
if you're just looking at
She goes,
food
"No, it
cost,
doesn't." I say, the cry was.
do I want to sell the hamburger or do I want to sell the hot dog?
Representation. The United Kingdom.
Right? If I'm looking at food cost percentage, do I want to sell the hamburger or I want to sell the hot dog?
Politicians over there. Oh, yeah.
I want to sell the hot dog because I got a much lower food cost percentage on the dog.
It was crazy.
Right?
Taxation
It's
without
only 20%.
representation.
I want to sell hot dogs all day
Because
long,
when
right?
you go to New York City,
Because if I'm just looking at my
pay
food
that
cost in a
tax.
vacuum,
But
that
you get
sounds
to
good.
vote
But
on the
Nick,
politicians
how
in
much
New
am I
York City
making
that
every time I
pass
sell
the
a dog? Every time I sell a dog.
It's classic taxation without
Ah,
representation.
Lily, help
We just
him out.
haven't had a revolution.
Lily, he already forgot your hot dog price.
Now, what's the other industry?
$4, right? But Nick, every time I sell a hamburger, how much contribution, how many dollars of contribution am I putting toward my expenses?
So you don't complain about it.
$8. Would I rather sell hamburgers or hot dogs,
We
Nick?
talked about it last time. Think about all the different aspects of
Nick,
travel and tourism.
do you remember the conversation we had 10 minutes ago where I said you can make $11 an hour, you can make $20 an hour? Which one would you rather do?
Exactly right.
20. If you can make $4 a dog or $8 a burger, which one would you rather do? Burger, dude, exactly. Thank you, Nick. Do you see how that works? So you can't, food cost is important because it helps you with your standardized recipes and making sure that portion sizes are right. Yeah. And it also helps you determine the appropriate contribution margin. That's helpful. But you have to look at contribution margin as well. Otherwise, you're leaving money on the table.
Okay, so it's the same thing with the rent cars. And now you know taxation.
Evelyn, if I sell a steak for $40 and it costs me $20, my food cost percentage is 50%. Same as that burger. But would I rather sell steaks or burgers?
Stadiums and things like that.
Steak, because I got a $20 contribution margin on that steak. Do you see that? So on my menu, what do I want to promote? Hot dogs, hamburgers, or steak? Steak. It's all about revenue management. It's all about yield management, right? Now, I get to take that contribution margin money, that $4 on the hot dog, the $8 on the hamburger, the $20 on the steak, and do what with it?
From Houston to go to Dallas, they pay it. So we're just robbing.
Because that's my free cash flow from that sale, right? I got to take $1 on the dog and pay for the dog and the relish and the bun and the pickles, etc. I got to take $8 on the hamburger, pay for the patty and the bun and the lettuce and the onion and the pickle. I got to take the $20 from the $40 of the steak and buy the steak. So that leaves me $20 or $4 or $8 to do what with, Nick?
Which ones would you think?
I'm going to keep this flapjack on the griddle, buddy. Keep going.
Chicago's big. You guys are missing the biggest.
Well, is my only expense the hamburger?
Vegas.
Or the hot dog? What else do I have to pay for?
Orlando.
I got to pay for the people that make it, the people that serve it. Do I have to pay rent? Insurance, utilities. Do I need to provide Wi-Fi? Do I need music in the joint? Do I need chairs, furniture, fixture, and equipment? So that's the money that goes to. Do you have to pay your lawyer, Nick? Say yeah. Nick, am I a lawyer? Yeah. Do you have to pay your lawyer? Nick, did you read my bio before you came into this class?
I got off track
Nick,
and I apologize.
did you read that? Then I'm a lawyer.
We're back.
You got to pay your lawyer, Nick. Rule number 1, pay your lawyer. There you go. So, do you see, Nick, why we need this money and why we want to maximize the contribution to our cash flow, right? So now, Nick, if you're going to open your restaurant with your grandparents' money, it's their life savings and they're dependent upon you for their retirement. Do you want to sell hot dogs, hamburgers, or steak? There you go, Nick. You're a genius, dude. I love it. Thank you very much for walking us through that. It was an awesome job. Say thank you, Nick. That's not an easy thing to do. You managed it well. Way to go.
Perishability. What we sell.
That's terrific. Everybody get that? Nick is a wonderful teacher. That's the lesson we learned from that conversation. All right, everybody golden? And did you see that? And you see why it's so important? And you see why I've done that? We're going to come back to that when we talk about restaurant operations.
In my hotel.
And I'm probably not going to call on dear old Nick. I'm going to call on somebody else.
I only sell 99
Did everybody see that, though? You see how that works and why it's so important and why you have to connect dots and why you can't look at things in a vacuum.
To sell that room night. Don't think about the
Why are
physical room.
hotels so
Think about
successful?
room night to night. Will I ever be able to get the money
Their
for that
contribution
room
margin
night in the
is
future?
high. Look,
It's
we
gone
just saw for
forever.
a hot dog,
I
the
have
contribution
forever
margin is
lost
$4.
that
For a hamburger, it's $8. For a steak, it's
opportunity
$20.
from that
In a $150 hotel room, what's my contribution margin? About $130.
Okay.
I got to pay the housekeeper to go in and clean it for 30 minutes. Right? I'm paying her or he $20 an hour. That's $10 for 30 minutes. I got some shampoo and conditioner. I got some washing sheets. I got a vacuum, use a little electricity. Cost me $20. Now I got some wear and tear and depreciation on the furniture, fixtures, and equipment, right?
$100.
I got a Wi-Fi expense. That's $20. So my contribution margin is what? $130 for every room that I sell.
Yeah, no, of course. Yeah. It's like when we.
Would you rather sell hotel rooms or steak?
Right, and somebody comes up, we're like,
Well, there you go. That's why you got a hotel popping up on every corner.
I know they did it, right? That's
Only
what we
doing
do. Our
9,900 the day
starts
before.
Listen, I'll go out and I'll speak to Choice Hotels, or I'll speak to Best Westerns, or I'll speak to all the others, the select service folks. I'll have 1,000 of them in the room. And you know who I'm speaking to? I'm not speaking to 1,000 motel owners or select service hotel operators. I'm speaking to 1,000 people that have multiple millions of dollars in the bank
They have
Your job.
100
off a
seats
60-room
on
hotel or a 120-room hotel. And they started with that, and now they've got 20 of those
99
things.
seats. I came downstairs.
It's a remarkable business if you run it well.
Can they
And
ever go
it's
back
not
and
just
make up that extra
revenue
$100
generating.
for
It's
that
also
seat
a
they
real
don't
estate play today. I was at a conference,
Never be
this is
sold again on
right
that day at that time.
before the
They'll sell it
2008
on
bust,
another flight.
and there was a fellow in there who had operated a Best Western, a 100-room Best Western hotel in Miami Beach for 25 years.
And that's why we
He had
call
made a
it
ton of money operating that hotel for 25 years. Does everybody want to spend $300 a night when they go to Miami Beach?
Macy's.
Some people are totally happy spending $49 a night, right? Because they're going to say, well, I'm not going to be in the room anyway, right? So this guy made oodles of money selling rooms
Like this sweater.
at his hotel. But you know when he made the most money? Is when he sold all his land.
Still sell that sweater to somebody
He
else.
sold his land for
They can
$25
sell it to
million.
somebody else, or they can sell it the next day or the next
Little
day
bitty
after that,
piece
or
of
the
land.
next day after
But
that.
somebody
They can
now
put it on a
could
sale
put up
rack and try to generate
a
some money.
50-story hotel on that little parcel of land that he had the wherewithal and the foresight and the courage to buy 30 years ago.
It's gone.
So it's not just revenue from operation. You have to think real estate today as well, whether it's a restaurant or whether it's a hotel.
Perishability is a big reason.
And that helps you decide feasibility, return on investment, and exit strategy.
To sell.
Everybody get that?
Also leads us to do what?
Others that
What does this industry do
embarrassed
that
about
other
how
businesses
So far, so good.
typically don't?
customer service.
There were a few other questions on the quiz. Anybody remember what they were? Because I don't.
You got
I'm going to stop when I have 100 reservations.
Yours, and you got to realize.
I'm sorry, I can't.
What am I going to
One more
do?
time.
So you got to be cognizant. So did she get the
I'm
order
going to
right?
sell them all out, but am I also going to
Who is the second command in the kitchen? Thank you for that.
Yeah.
I know you.
Who is the
doesn't
second in
sound right,
command in the
doesn't feel
kitchen?
good, but that's what
Sous chef. Who speaks French? Sous stands for under. We also call it the assistant chef.
from airline.
This is the person, the chef, what we call the executive chef,
Or somebody ever offered you
right,
money?
will answer to whom in a hotel.
Because they what they call oversold.
The executive chef will answer to whom? food
I
and
have
beverage
100 seats to
director,
sell,
then the
but
food and
I
beverage
know
director answers to
historically
whom?
that 10 people are
GM,
going to
right?
are
Okay,
going
great.
to cancel or not show
And
up.
then who answers
I'm
to
gonna
the
sell
executive
110
chef?
seats.
The sous chef. So the executive chef
Because
is the
I
person
don't
that
want to lose the
typically
revenue
designs
off
the
those 10
menu,
seats. Now, what have airlines
hires and
started
fires.
to do because
right?
of that?
The sous chef is typically the person that's in charge of the
Well, they
kitchen
give you-
and what we
what
call
else
the
do they do
kitchen
now? You buy
brigade.
an airline ticket,
Are you a
you don't-
culinary person?
You don't get a
Okay,
refund.
Can you explain to them very
sell all
quickly the kitchen
non-refundable
brigade
tickets.
system?
You're starting
We have
to
the
see
executive
hotels
chef, the
sell
sous chef,
non-refundable
under chef,
prepaid
sous is
rooms.
under in French,
starting to
right?
see rent
So the
cars.
assistant chef, and then we have
Pay
the
for
chef
it today,
de
it's non-refundable. We're going to give you a discount.
partie, which stands for?
Even if you cancel, then what happens? They get to keep the money.
Thoughts and your
See how
It's okay if you can. I don't know either. I was hoping you did. When we have the rotisserie, chef de rotisserie, which is the grill, right?
Guarantee
Grill.
their
And
reservation.
pâtissier, how do you pronounce
Here's
that?
what
Pâtissier?
you're doing.
Pâtissier, that's the pastry
else
chef,
there
right?
On a busy
And
night,
who else do we have? We have
you're
the
letting
tournant.
a table of 5.
What's the tournant? Chef de tournant.
And then you turn other reservations away. And
Okay, saucier is in charge of all the sauces, right? We do that. And then help us understand what mise en place means.
The childish,
could spend the
immature
money,
thing
right?
is
You
to
relied
react.
on my promise
What's the big deal?
to turn away.
That's exactly right. A place for everything. How we translate that in the kitchen, mise en place, is a place for everything and everything in its place.
as well.
So when the doors open and customers come in, is everything in the kitchen ready? We have all of our ingredients ready, all of our products ready. So when that first order comes in, are we prepared?
Good.
Creative.
Grill station is set up, the salad station is ready, the dessert station is ready.
You know, the basic 7
All of our garnishes are ready, all of our plates are in the right spot. Everything we need to dip sauces is ready to go. A place for everything and everything in its place. Mise en place. M-I-S-E-E-N-P-L-A-C-E.
Levels of
Mise
cereal
en
like you're
place.
being ignored. I'm going to leave most of that to you to read.
What's the solution
Got
there?
it? All right, another question on the quiz that you want to know.
Evolution of this industry and how
Listen to me.
Smurf, you guys know what that is, right?
No.
We went over that the other day.
Our boundaries.
Everybody remember? If you go into hotel sales, they always divide them by, you're going to be in charge of Smurf business, which stands for
We
that
go
something
to
you wanna
dinner.
do?
social,
It's important to me that we stay engaged.
So,
I don't get on my phone.
religion, and fraternal.
Do it that way.
Social is a big category. Weddings,
or did transportation?
big time. Reunions,
Yeah, put them in the middle.
family, school reunion, yeah. Social, if you just want to go have a party.
History,
Prom, social,
I'm not talking about
absolutely. Okay, so Smurf is one side, the other side is
2,000
business.
years ago.
You have business
I know
travel,
you guys
selling
think
room
the world
nights
started
to
with
stay at the
the
hotel for their travelers and their customers, and also banquets and events. Big business, big business. Is the meeting and events business big?
It's yours. Because
Ginormous.
You set the boundaries. You don't go,
Ginormous, $1 trillion business in its own right around the world.
Transportation.
Huge.
Other people said lodging.
Okay? Video conferencing did not end in person-to-person, face-to-face meetings, conferences, and expositions. It's absolutely huge. Okay? What's another question?
I think that's the thing. People used to
Seating.
walk.
Yeah, because if you're talking about banquets and events, you have to know about seating. What style of seating is this?
Own place.
This is theater.
And they couldn't
Classroom
get back
has
that day.
tables in front
What did they have
of the
to have?
chairs for people to take notes,
A place to stay.
right? Theater seating. What is conference style seating?
So lodging
It's kind of a circular table, right?
started by just
All
that.
right? If I said to you, I want
Allow other
seating crescent rounds of 8, what does that
when they
mean?
travel.
Crescent rounds
We
of
have
8.
that going on today.
What does that
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, I'm okay.
Airbnb or couch surfing.
Nope, horseshoe is
Same
horseshoe.
concept. It just took us a while to monetize it.
Crescent rounds of 8.
Does everybody understand monetize?
So when we talk about tables,
You've got to
you
step
talk
out
about
now.
a table that'll hold 8 chairs, table that'll hold 10 chairs, table that'll hold 6 tables.
Get started.
But typically I'll say I want rounds of 8. But if I say crescent rounds of 8, not necessarily half. It means you'll give me a table that would ordinarily seat 10 but you're going to give me 8 seats added,
wagon.
so what?
That could carry more people and more things.
You have more room, but why do I want it crescent? In other words, I don't want the entire table filled with chairs. Why
I
not?
left with 20 people and I got to
I don't want anybody's
What do I
back
have
to the
have for those
screen.
20 people when they get there.
Now, if I'm not doing a program, do I care?
Just
No, put as many people as you want at the table, right? If I'm in a restaurant and I say, seat them at that deuce over there, what does that mean?
entertainment.
Table for 2, 2 top. Put them at that 4 top,
Look at the evolution
right?
of transportation.
Put table 14 and 15 together to make an 8,
See a synchronization.
right? You see how it works? All right, we'll get back to the restaurant side. But this seating concept in banquets is important. That'll all be part of your BEO. Yeah? What other things go on a BEO? Grady. What else goes on a BEO?
Trains became invented as the continental
What's
railroad
planned? But give me
was
some of
being
those
built.
details. What are some of the things, items that'll be included in
So
that
many
plan?
miles of track would get laid. And the
Audio visual. We
workers
call it
would be
audio
there. They
visual.
would
Exactly
camp.
right. What else?
But the people that took the train had
The
money.
food items that they've
They would
ordered,
end up
time that it
at a
needs to be
McDonald's.
served,
What
how
did
many
they have
portions,
to have for
right?
those people
I
to stay
I
there?
need continental breakfast for 80,
Lodging, food and beverage,
right? Plus coffee served,
entertainment,
plus fresh
saloons,
juices.
etc.
Are there going to be flowers on the table?
All of this
Are the tables going to be skirted? Do you know what that means?
Exactly what happened. A lot of fun. And then
Skirt means that
as
it's,
more and
instead
more
of just a
people
table
began
like
to
that, you see
come,
how the skirt is on the
what
bottom?
did a town
You see that?
or a city have
Glad
to
I brought
have?
this prop. Oh, I'm gonna
We
lose it.
call it infrastructure.
So if it didn't have this on it, what would you see?
Right, you could have a
You can see the legs, and they're
You can
usually
have a
nasty because they've
railroad
been stacked on top of each
station.
other. But if we skirt it, does it
depot
look
or a
better and more
station.
professional?
And you could have a hotel
Yeah,
next
so if
to
your
it.
tables need to be skirted, does the color matter?
But people aren't going to want
Yeah,
to
you
stay
have different
if that's all
colors
you
of skirts
have,
depending on
right?
how
They want to go see
big your operation is, right? I need to know how it's set. Is it important to know if the lunch is buffet or seated?
They want
Clearly it needs to know that. If it's seated, I need to have many more people there to serve, right? If it's buffet style, I just need some people to set it up. Yeah, and coffee and tea at the table. Yeah. Is dessert going to be preset? Is salad going to be preset?
right?
Those things have to be on the BEO. They have. If you want to be on the sales side and the banquet and catering side, you have to be detail oriented.
Wi-Fi.
You have to be.
Twice today before you travel to a location.
Yeah, and if you're putting on an event, do you need to review those carefully to make sure they're right, that your messaging got through and they understand, because that's your event. If you have people with disabilities coming to your event, do you need a ramp on the stage?
All the things you guys are used to.
Not recognizing
If it's stairs into the ballroom, does somebody have to put a temporary ramp in for the person in the wheelchair to get up? Yeah, you've got to think about all these things. You just can't look at these things in a vacuum. You have to connect
he looks
the dots.
Jet.
And then I
Airline
looked
jet
fine.
service.
Help, right? Because we're good guys.
It enabled us to
Do you
go
understand
further
contribution margin?
than ever before.
Do you understand what a food and beverage director does? Do you understand food
Islands
cost
like
percentage?
Tahiti
Do you understand the way banquet and event spaces are set up?
Back 30 years ago,
Seating
all of
style.
a sudden, a jet service.
Do you understand
goes away.
BEO?
All of a sudden,
I'm not going to apologize. Are you
Tahiti.
crazy?
What does Tahiti have to have? Because when you put 300 people there, all of a sudden, they don't live there.
Anything else?
And they get off the plane, what do they expect? They're not going to sleep on the
You want
beach.
to count this quiz?
They need a hotel. They need a resort. So there's a
I did it
constant
myself.
synchronization
Look, there's
and
a time
evolution
You get to drop one grade.
between travel,
You don't want to spin this one on your drop?
lodging,
and to be able to respond.
and infrastructure in the local
You get to
local
choose your lowest
infrastructure.
grade. We'll automatically drop your
Everybody
lowest
see
grade.
that?
But if you miss the grade, you get it. If you miss the quiz, you get a 0. So we drop it.
So let's just review really quickly. What's an OTA?
Anyway, let's see, Brandon, you had your hand up.
Yeah, you right there. Yeah.
Theater style is good for lectures.
Tell me your name.
Yeah. So now you're calculating your grade?
Alex
Yeah.
with an E. Alex.
I typically make the
Tell
first
me what's
quiz
an OTA?
practice, but it always upsets the
Give me-
people that did
oh, that's
well.
right. Alex was a soft
Yeah.
Yeah, Alex.
How
give
many
me
of you
an
think
example
it's
of
fair
online
if we
travel.
make the first quiz a practice quiz? Raise your hand.
Anybody around them.
Excellent. I love it.
How many of you that
I
did
love
really well would be okay making it a practice quiz?
And go on.
That's fine. We have a generous group in here today. So, Spencer, we'll make that a practice
Jose and his
quiz.
brother Jose.
All right. Now, hold on.
So we got Jose.
What do we learn from this? Do we learn we have,
What's perishability mean?
do we learn we have to study? Do you learn the types of questions we're going to ask? If you didn't do well on this exam, did you study well? No. Did you study enough? No. Is there a premium for being prepared when you come into the classroom?
Now, some people will say,
All right,
like, an
guys.
apple is perishable.
It's up to you now, right? You know where we're going and how we're doing it. Hey, great conversation. Let's keep them going. Are you learning? Rock and roll. Go out. Have some fun. Oh, wait, I heard something kind of cute on the Super Bowl, wasn't it? Don't drink and drive. Don't text and drive.
Yes, ma'am.
No, what was something else? Don't do something.
Unbelievable talent.
Lyric.
No, something else that I thought was cute that you guys would like. What was it? Don't something and drive. How many of you put makeup on and drive? Raise your hand. Raise your hand. How many of you read the newspaper or read and drive? Raise your hand. How many of you eat and drive?
And they spend
Yeah, you guys do that. Remind me not to drive when you guys are out on the road.
When you see an
All right, hey,
advertisement for the city,
chocolate. How many of you think you can go to the stroll on Thursday night? Yeah, try to go. I think it'll be fun. I'm going to try to make it by.
What is
I hope to see you out there.
infrastructure?
Everybody knows where Central Market
what's
is?
infrastructure?
Oh, I'm sorry. Central Market is on Westheimer between Wesleyan and the Loop.
Infrastructure.
It's
Your name?
just, if you're going out toward the Galleria from Midtown, it's on your left-hand side just past
going.
Wesleyan.
Roads.
You know where Highland Park Village is?
Utilities.
Highland Village is with all the
Electricity,
stores.
gas,
Shops
water,
directly
phone
across from
lines,
the start of that.
Wi-Fi network.
Central Market. It's the one on
That's the
Westheimer and Wesleyan,
infrastructure.
right on the corner. You can't miss it.
That
Hope to see you there. Hey, guys.
to
Hey, hey. Chapter 5 for Thursday, right? Be ready.
Common needs
Okay. See you then. Bye-bye.
of your residents and visitors. You need an infrastructure. Okay? All right, good. So now you kind of have the history and how it's tied. You know a little bit about the business and how it's growing. Let's go back and just do a quick review of all of the areas that we're going to be thinking about that makes up this incredible economic powerhouse. Right? That you guys are thinking about going into. So in your book, there's a page that has an umbrella. Can you open that up? If you need to get online to look, if you've got a digital book, go right ahead and do that. If you don't have a book, get with somebody that does. Lean over, move if you need to, but I want you to see this umbrella. You need to look? Okay. Jordan, you got a book? Oh, you're going to pull it up. What page is it on, ma'am, in the red? 15? Thank you very much. Okay, what's the very first item there
You want to go from the airport.
on the left-hand side of that umbrella?
Middle Airport to downtown Houston, it's going
Travel.
to be $35.
Do you have one? Young man in the back, can you look
I can
on
get
her?
on when I get
Can you
on.
see her? Yeah, you got it? Okay. Travel. What's under travel?
Same distance from the
Jose, what's under travel?
Atlanta's the same thing.
Right. Travel, transportation, ecotourism.
Really want to
Lyric,
be
what
a
is that?
tourist destination. We have to make it easy for people to move around.
Exactly right.
able to
To
move around
experience
after
nature.
they've
And
been
what does
using
that mean
alcohol.
we have to do
In a
if
safe
we're
way.
in that area and or we visit that area?
Or if they're going to rent cars, we have to give them infrastructure, and that means parking.
That's exactly right. Because if we don't, will that erode? And other people won't get an opportunity to see it. So sustainability is crucial when we think of ecotourism.
Parking,
Very good.
traffic
All right.
congestion.
All the modes of transportation, air, sea, ground. Yep.
From those other major cities we've talked
Ecotourism.
about.
Excellent.
What do we
What's
not
the
have
next
that
one?
other cities have?
Lodging. Read it out loud for me, Laura.
Are you familiar with zoning?
up this part of the discussion.
Hotels, motels, and resorts. The book is out of date, isn't it?
Government's regulatory
What are we missing?
scheme, not
Well, what we call shared services. Airbnb is a brand that represents that. What about HomeAway? Are you familiar with that?
Absolutely not. Who
HomeAway is an example, like Airbnb. It's another one. And look, I bring these things up to you because don't just think about going to work for Hilton. There are lots of jobs with Airbnb.
So you can have
At the corporate level, lots of jobs with
Over
Uber at
here,
the
you
corporate
can have
level.
commercial.
So think big, think broad, think bold.
It can be retail,
Think about a career. Think about something that really drives you and interests
but
you.
you can't have warehouses and distribution.
Now, we're missing some other things in that lodging category. How many of you ever stayed in a hostel?
And it's like a cookie cutter.
Stay in a
system
hostel.
In the city.
Everybody know what a hostel is?
Does not have that.
It's a
You see that?
relatively
Now,
inexpensive
communities like
place
Katy
of lodging
have
where you
developed
typically
zoning.
share a room with 3 or
And they have
4 other
created
people.
Neighborhood restrictions.
Yeah, might be a community
Act
bath.
like zoning, right? You can't go put a bar next to Collins
Depends on how much you want to
in the
pay.
neighborhood
They're
in Katy.
usually placed in
Can you
pretty
do
cool
that
parts of the
inside
city,
loop in
but they're
Houston,
usually a
except
cheaper
for
option.
Westview and
You've
River
heard of
Oaks.
people backpacking around Europe,
Because they have
South America. They'll
neighborhoods.
typically 1 or 2
But
nights a
even in
week. If
Westview,
they're not camping or
some of
hanging
those
out, they'll stay at a hostel.
Don't you have a lot of
The hostel is
commercial
usually
activity
about
inside the residential
30%
activity?
of what a hotel is.
Inside the
So it's a
loop
much
here, you
cheaper
go to
option.
where I live in the Montrose area.
Travel. So hostels are good
That's
examples
crazy.
of lodging.
Right?
What about cruise
Bars,
ships?
the restaurants, the homes.
Are they a form of
all
lodging?
Right there. When I moved
Yeah,
to
it's a hybrid. It's transportation and lodging combined. Very good. What about hospitals? Lodging? Absolutely. Now,
transition a lot.
are hotels starting to interfere with the apartment business?
Now,
How many of you have stayed in a long-term stay hotel?
tourism.
Anybody done that? Your family relocated to a certain area, so you stay for 30 days or 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 30 days in a hotel. Give me a name of a brand of a long-term stay.
What about on the housing side? Has Airbnb been a
Extended
good
Stay
thing
America
for communities?
is an example of a long-term stay. It's a
Well,
different
If
model.
you're in the hotel business,
They don't really want
it
people just
certainly
to come
hasn't
for
been.
1 night. They want people to stay a week,
'Cause that's-
2 weeks,
that was
a month,
takes away
6 months, a year.
Demand for a hotel, what happens to the price?
They fill that gap between permanent residency and transient occupancy. Hotels
Airbnb a good
are
thing
in the
for
business
everybody.
primarily of transient occupancy.
live in a neighborhood.
People that aren't staying there for a long stretch. Apartment, well, rent to tenants. People that want to establish a residency there.
Are you going to want cars parked up and
That's
down
what
the
being
street?
late is about.
You don't
Everybody see that?
But if you're the person
Long-term stay hotels fill that gap a little bit.
let it stay in your neighborhood.
People don't want to sign a year-long lease for an apartment, but they need to stay longer than a week.
when you're thinking,
A
well,
long-term stay hotel.
About the
right?
political economics
Who's putting your
of these
putting
developments.
themselves in that situation?
And the
Just making sure you're in the right place, young
gotta
man. You're
establish
supposed to be in the
that
introduction to
boundary.
hospitality
Hey,
that started at 10 o'clock. Are you
I'm
supposed to
happy
be
to
the
meet up.
introduction to technology?
Connecting the dots.
And if you can be on time,
In either
let's
one?
do this.
What room are you looking for?
Not, I got other things to do.
This
with
is
my
S104.
and that's absolutely okay.
You're
to say.
probably, is it
And you got to be
Is it just
okay
104?
with the friendship
It was
going off in
celebrity.
another direction.
How else do we meet?
Okay.
That's got to be it. I just had to have that.
This is what I think where you're supposed to be.
She loves to meet up.
If
but
you'll
she's
go out-
always
Go
late
all the
for
way
about 5
here,
minutes.
just walk through the class.
Hey,
Go out that
tax
door
dollars.
that's
And
over
yeah,
here.
first couple of
And
times,
you're
I
going
was
to
like,
see what he's
every
some doors that are strike that. Spencer.
I said for you,
Spencer,
that may not be.
take him over to the continuing.
Continue.
You know where you're going? Continuing ed over there? Yeah, and if that's not 104, the other Foods 2 lab or the kitchen over there, but I think those are closed down for renovation. All right, so hang with him until he finds what he's looking for. See? Yeah. Good luck, bud. Spencer gets extra credit for knowing where things are. If I'd asked one of you to escort him, you'd have gone, I don't think
You
so.
guys understand occupancy tax?
All right. That's why you need to know where you're going, and you got to take that tour. And Spencer took a lot of time building a tour. Take the tour. It'll serve you well.
Then they're late and
Plus,
you're
I might get lost, and
Why
you
would
need
you
to
do
escort
that?
me. Is that customer service?
always
See,
have
customer service, you just don't go. Customer service, you go, Spencer, take him over there.
movie. Today, there is absolutely zero reason
The tour's on
to not
Blackboard.
have anything to do.
Yeah. Anybody find it?
Nothing. I mean, there's
Yeah.
so
It's on
much
Blackboard.
right here, right here.
Hilton College Tour.
It's
Start you
impossible
at a
to
certain
not
place,
have anything
break,
to
just
do.
walk, it'll take you 15 minutes. And just walk around during your break in class. All right, what were we talking about?
Stay
Don't rent it at the airport.
Lodging, right? And we were adding things to it. Hospital, hotels with doctors,
Build the car infrastructure.
extended stay America, right? We talked about the difference in the gap. You got all that. Transient, tenants, the gap. Everybody? Okay. I think we covered lodging now. Hey, what's the difference between a hotel and a motel?
Because there were so many different brands.
Motels historically are cheaper, but we started out with motels before we got to hotels. But what's the difference? Outside access. Very good. Motel is short for motor hotel.
But we're not getting the
You
money.
drive your car up to your room. You get out of your car, you walk into your guest room, or you go upstairs to your guest room. It's exterior access. The hotel, you go in to the lobby and you access your room from an interior corridor.
Friends, and we all get together about once a month.
Everybody understand?
One of my friends,
Interior corridor.
the organizer,
Hotels versus motel. You should charge extra for that. That was really good.
and apparently two of us.
Yes, sir.
We had confirmed already, but she sent a reconfirm out, and a couple of us confirmed. One person.
If a hotel had to have a restaurant? Oh, what a great question. We'll learn more about that on Thursday when we study hotels, because there are different types of hotels.
Now they're looking
you
at
may
the
be
text.
confusing. Last
That's
week we
when you
talked
know
about
you're
country
trying to be
clubs.
right.
What do country clubs have
Instead
to
of
have to be a
trying
country
to
club?
Solve it, right?
Golf
this
course.
isn't CSI.
Yeah. Nick
It's
worked
not
in the pro
law
shop,
and order.
right, Nick?
When you feel like
So that's
you've
where
got
you
to
can be,
prove
but you have to have
somebody
a
what you said or
golf
did,
club
you've
to be a
got
country
realize
club.
you're
But a
going down
hotel,
bad
no.
path.
Just
This has
rooms
turned from a
to rent
friendship
now.
into a courthouse.
But there are different levels.
If you want to be
of
in the
hotel.
courthouse, go be a police
Select
officer
hotels that just
or be a
have rooms.
lawyer.
Full-service hotels
trust me,
that
you don't
also
wanna
provide
drag that
restaurants,
stuff
room
into your
service,
friendship.
things like that.
And
And
we'll
we'll
talk
talk
a lot
about
more
those
about this when we talk about
distinctions
conflict
as we get into
resolution.
hotels over the next couple of
It's
days.
ridiculous
Yeah,
how
very
bad
good
money
question.
they went.
We
It
find
was
it?
just a misunderstanding.
104?
Felt like, and he had confirmed the first time when she reconfirmed. He
Over
thought
on this
to
side.
himself, well, I'd already reconfirmed. Why not?
Oh, he was in 114. I thought he said
She didn't
104.
write back
I
to
bring
him.
it up to you.
Ah,
because
okay.
many of
All
our
right.
students get
My class should watch
hired
this.
See how that happens?
See
Listen
how
to me.
not to
every
do
year.
things.
Fake news.
in their internships every summer. And they also,
right.
Houston First.
Let's get through these really quickly. I want you guys to get outside.
Houston First also.
Lodging. What's
built
next?
a hotel downtown.
Assembly and events. Listen, do not underestimate this as a career path. Meetings, events, conventions, trillion-dollar business. What's the largest convention that comes to the city of Houston every year? Attracts more people than anybody else. Oh, the Offshore Technology Conference drives a lot of people, but I think the one I'm thinking of is even bigger.
Hotel rooms downtown.
The rodeo we call more of an event, not so much as a convention, but the rodeo outdraws everybody and everything. The rodeo in, I think, 21 days outdraws the entire Houston Astros home baseball schedule, 80 days. It's crazy how much the rodeo draws.
Their job is
The quilt convention.
to create more traffic.
The quilt convention.
Children.
Yeah. If you haven't been to the quilt convention in Houston, you need to go. It is huge. You know what a quilt is, right? Quilts? You see the most crazy things ever, and it's so much fun to go see. Yeah, and they hold it down at the George R. Brown. You walk around, you look at quilts all day long. And you're like, ooh, that feels good. And you see all these women over there. And you got a lot of men now, too, that are quilting, and they do that. It's big business, quilt business. Okay, so meetings and events. What is under that umbrella?
U.S. Travel Association. Their job
And expositions. And as we go through the course, you're going to learn the difference between an exposition and a meeting and an event. Hang on to those thoughts. What's next?
companies it is. For the hotel.
Restaurants and managed services. Let's make that food and beverage, right? Do we have food and beverage on a college campus? Is that a restaurant or is that a managed service? That's a managed service. The university doesn't run the food and beverage here. They hire a third party to manage their food and beverage. Right?
But we're slow to
If I don't know how to operate a hotel, but I got some money and I want to open and own a hotel, can I hire a third party to manage it for me? Yes. Same thing with food and beverage. Do you see? Okay, good. Food and beverage is huge business. Beverage is every bit as big as food.
infrastructure.
All right. What's next?
Manage it right. Could help with coordination.
Recreation, clubs. Are festivals big business today? How many of you have gone out to a music festival lately? How many of you go out to the Ren Fair?
Suicide.
NRA has one. They have
How many of you think like I do
If I asked you on the exam to explain the multiplier effect, could you do it?
that camping is a hotel with one bar?
Could you give me an
I don't know.
example
You
of
guys,
leaking?
you be in somebody's mouth all day long?
You
I'm
didn't
not
get
sure
it.
I could do that.
How
Anybody
many
here
like
like
to
to be a
do it?
dentist? Well, there you go. Any of you like going to the dentist?
We
Who
talked
likes going to
about
the dentist?
if Matt is
Okay, you
leaving
guys do,
Houston
you
with
guys
his
do?
money and going to spend it in
I
Bossier
gotta take
City,
like 3
Louisiana,
Stallion before I
that
go.
money leaked out of our economy.
I did that when I was like 8.
Went
I
over
had enough
and
of that.
spent
You guys
over there.
have these?
I was like, no, no
Discretionary
thanks.
You guys all
money.
have
I want a
Even though we
refrigerator.
I have one
support
now here with you.
public schools,
Oh, if
I want
you
a
don't have
bed.
one with you, get
Wi-Fi,
one now. I got
etc.
some
Mosquitoes.
We
I
want
don't
his
want
money,
it.
so
And I don't
here,
like
where's
snakes.
he spending his
Okay,
discretionary
I'm not a
money?
fan
out
of
on this
snakes.
side.
Hey
I
guys,
just wanna go
great
through
class,
together real quick.
great
And
conversation.
reinforce what we've
You've
got.
got a little
Now,
more to do in chapter 1, right? Hey, you're
remember
going to be
this
prepared
map.
for chapter
This
2
these are your goals.
on Thursday,
Start with
right?
one, right?
All right.
Oh, let me
I'm
have
giving
one
you,
of those.
I'm letting you out.
Lots of
I
things
want you to
to
go
do.
out front.
Okay, guys, great conversation. Call it a day. What's today, Thursday? Don't drink and drive.
But I was in the audience and.
Have fun, but don't.